all new. AM1150
As we prepare to blast off again. Another great, this one has to be one of the fastest hours at this particular radio station because we got so much great information we bring to you.
All right, that was for Facebook Live. So we're getting ready to do another show. So thank you for joining us. Hopefully you're enjoying the show.
Like and share, please. Like and share, and let the rest of the world know what a great program you have right here in your midst. Like and share, please.
Here we go. On a few. Alrighty. Tampa Bay, it's that time again. The elephants have arrived.
Love.
Porch Talk Radio. We're on the air again. It's some things. It seems like when I come, on the air, it's some stuff I have to clear up. And like I say, sometimes I try to listen to some of the other shows. Sometimes I don't make it. It's not because of lack of effort. It's because it's Saturday, and I, like everybody else, have stuff we try to get done on Saturday. But one thing I got to tell you, and for folks who listen to the show on a regular basis, we don't. We're not trying to be politically correct. We say black, we say white. We say things and directly speak to people. We speak to your heart. So, and I know a lot of people don't like me personally because of what I say. But it's not about that. It's about, getting information out. And if nobody ever tells you anything that you don't want to hear, I hate to say it, but you're gonna be a dumb butt. I was say dumb, ASS, but because again, people are talking to you and they're only telling you stuff that you want to hear. And a lot of time, as a community, we think that makes us safe. That's how they control us. That's how they destroy us by only telling us stuff we want to hear. So we tell you the real deal. This is the real. This is the goods. This is the stuff that everybody else get that you don't get. And like I say, a lot of you guys, I know y'all don't like Trump. And you don't like Trump for whatever reason. And this ain't what we're trying to do. We ain't trying to make you love Trump. We ain't trying to make you love anybody. What we're trying to do is trying to give you information. This is going to be an election where a lot of you guys are going to be butthurt. You're going to be butthurt because when they had the election for Barack Obama, I was walking the street because I was a candidate. And I was hearing black people saying, oh, I ain't never voted in my life, but I'm going to vote this time. He made people go to the polls and vote. They want to be historical. This is going to be historical. It ain't never happened before. I want to be a part of it. I want to be, one of the ones that's in making the history. A black president in my lifetime.
In a racist nation, twice.
We got that. We've had that. I'm telling you.
Didn't work.
Joe Biden ain't making nobody who ain't voted before say, oh, I got to go vote. It's a lot of folks that, a lot of black folks say, oh, I don't like Trump, But what they ain't saying, and then what you're not hearing, and the media is not telling you, is the fact of the matter that, Joe Biden and his people, are not making the waves in the community that Obama made. It ain't gonna be historical.
Well, it's hysterical.
For you to go vote for Biden. Biden ain't having rallies. He's not making people excited. And for the black community, he actually making their own people excited. Because of at the end of the day, there's a lot of people gonna stay home. A lot of people just gonna choose not to vote. And I know it's a lot of rallies, and the people who are active, but what about the ones who are not active, the people you don't hear from? I can tell you, the white folks you ain't hearing from, the silent majority, they gonna vote. They're gonna get in their car, they're gonna get in their buses, they're gonna get in their vans, and they're gonna go vote. Again, they ain't gonna try to mail it in. You know, they ain't
They'll
gonna
show up, Eddie.
try to do it. They're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. They're gonna go because they want it to count. They want to make sure that they vote count. It's a lot of folks, you know, in the hood, you know, at home, depending upon. I'm gonna tell you something. Every day of the year, there's an incident somewhere in the country where a mail truck blows up. You know, the guy, he decides he don't want to deliver the mail today. He puts them in the dumpster.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't take one system that's not successful and try to make another system that hasn't been successful and put two unsuccessful systems together and get success. I'm just telling you, it is easy for me because I know I want my vote to count, to get up off my butt, get in my car, go down to a precinct, walk in, vote, and go home and do whatever else I'm gonna do. I'm just saying, and there's a lot of people gonna do that. You know,
Landslide.
The vote by mail thing. I don't want you to take it the wrong way.
Come on.
But it's a big hoax. I'm telling you that. You know, because the states that do it have been doing it for some time, and they do it because it's easy. I'm saying like this: you got 2 weeks here in Florida. I can't talk about the other state. You got 2 weeks at some point in the day for you to go vote. Decide it's important enough that I want to go vote. And if you don't vote in those 2 weeks, you got election day, which everybody in the country got. For you to decide, it's important enough that I want to go vote. Now, I'm going to tell you something a lot of people don't want to hear. It just ain't that damn important to a lot of people. I know you say it and you hear it and you get upset because you hear a show or you see a debate or you hear something, you hear this and hear that. But I see black folks every day, and I'm sorry, you guys aren't that excited. The ones that are excited and working and hooping and hollering and yelling and stuff, good. Trump had a rally yesterday in Ocala.
The villages.
Far as the eye could see, there was people. And this is in a pandemic.
It was old people.
There were people.
Retirees.
It was all kind of people. So I'm saying I have seen this before.
Wow.
You know, but it was when, you know, Barack Obama was making people come out. Biden and Kamala is not Barack Obama.
It's crickets.
Between the two of them, and a lot of you guys, I'm going to just tell you, I don't see that you guys got any confidence whatsoever. And I ain't even started the show yet. So I'm just rambling on, but I had to get it off my chest. And then before I start the show, one other thing I get off my chest is I got to say congratulations to my sister, Connie Burden, who is now the chairman of the board of the East Tampa CRA. I don't care what people say about what's happened before. I can tell you now.
CRA, what's that?
It's some things that's going to happen. It's East Tampa got a CRA, West Tampa got a CRA, downtown got a CRA.
What is CRA?
CRA is where the taxes you pay to the county come back to the community.
Whoa.
And they have to be spent in that community.
Awesome.
By that community.
Congratulations.
By the CRA board. So East Tampa last year got $3 million. West Tampa last year got $3 million. You know, and they went to the board for the board to spend that money within those areas. So
Excellent.
it's about 5 or 6 CRAs in the county, and
Ms. Burton's right there.
Pretty much, you know, her and her new board, which they're putting together now, will be able to look at this as how do we make East Tampa better. Cause
no roundabouts.
Because West Tampa, well, they got wet roundabouts going in now. You know, West Tampa, you know, for a lot of folks know that, you know, they've already taken West Tampa, and a lot of the property in West Tampa that used to belong to black folks now belong to other people. You know, but East Tampa still got a chance to keep that community, make that community what you need it to be, and keep control of it.
Awesome.
Don't give control of your property away. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start this show.
Let's do it.
Welcome to Porch Talk Radio. For all our listeners, this is Eddie Adams, your host, and Gabriel Phillips, the co-host. And we've been doing this, and just to say, On the 13th, I had a birthday, so I am now 67 years old.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm an old man.
Not a gray hair either. That's a miracle.
Yeah, that's that. That's that. I don't mind. I don't mind saying my hair. My hair is as white as anybody else's. But I'm like a Chaka Zulu.
Oh my goodness.
They discovered dying.
That secret?
Thought it physically made him younger. Now it makes you look a little younger, but it don't give you one day a new age. So I'm just saying.
Body's still talking to you.
So happy birthday to me and
happy birthday, Eddie.
all mine and all that kind of good stuff. And I had a lot of people on Facebook. I had about 300, 400 people on Facebook that wished me happy birthday. So I'm sending out. I usually have a party, a birthday party, and it would have been this weekend. But COVID-19. So I don't want anybody to be sick because of me. So I'm going to say happy birthday, and next year we'll have twice as big a party, and
there you go.
Everybody do it. Because we've had parties. I've had a birthday party every year since 2006. I've had big birthday parties every year since 2006. One year I had about 300 or 400 people to my birthday party. So we had horses and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's right.
So anyway, thank you for listening. And for those who need to call the show, I forgot. We got to open the show. So those who want to call in during this show, the call-in number WTMP 813-251-9867. 813-251-9867. For those who want to call me after the show, at home during the week or something, discuss something, talk about something. Bring something up, a topic, a discussion. My cell phone number, Eddie Adams' cell phone number, is 813-12. Gabriel.
Something like that. For you guys, I always have a little tidbit to add somewhere in here. And if it sets you on fire, I've told them since the beginning, go look it up for yourself before you complain to me about it. My number is 727-11. You need a prayer line, fine. You need a friend, maybe. You want to complain, you better go look it up. I ain't going to deal with it.
All right. So those who want to email me, Eddie at porchtalkradio.com. Eddie at porchtalkradio.com. So Facebook Live, like I told you before,
right now.
We're getting better at this. We've been doing radio for 10 years, but we've only been doing Facebook Live for about 6 years. About 6 months. Ooh, 6 months.
Close.
Yeah. 6 months. So, anyway, I have a great guest for you today. It's somebody from the community. I know you have not met them, but it's somebody that I have pretty much been knowing ever since I've been in Tampa. Because I think I met her, within 6 months of me first coming to Tampa, back in 1971 when I came to the University of South Florida.
Was I born then? My goodness.
Yeah, no. I just told you I was 67. So I'm not a spring chicken. So anyway, I met this young lady back then, and she's been in government. She ran for senator for the state of Florida, U.S. senator, for the state of Florida, and some other stuff, and she's an attorney. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce her. She's got some things she want to talk about, and we're going to just have a conversation. So
on the porch.
So if you want to call in, I gave you the call in. Call in, ask questions, and we're going to go from there. Her name is Miss Belinda Noah. Welcome to Porch Talk Radio.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, Eddie and Gabriel. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And yes, as you said, we did meet a long time ago, back in 1971, and of course we have been friends since that time. And it's always great to get back into Tampa because I do travel a lot. I travel internationally, so I came back in January because I was asked to apply for a Florida Supreme Court justice position. So I came back from overseas, applied for the position, and of course after that, the COVID-19 hit.
Yeah.
Yes, so we have basically been stranded, so to speak, as far as being able to travel and do the things that we had planned to do because of the pandemic. But it has brought about some very good things. It has enabled me to work very hard in the community, as I always like to do, and also to become reacquainted with a lot of good friends. So, as Eddie said, I am an attorney. I was born actually in North Florida, in Live Oak, Florida, but came down to Tampa to attend undergraduate school. And from there, I went up to Florida State University and completed my Juris Doctor. And subsequently to that, I attended Widener University in Wilmington, Delaware.
You've been around.
Yes, I have. And so I completed the PhD program there. And I had an opportunity to meet our opponent, I have to say, Joe Biden at that time. And of course, we know each other, we attended the same church, but I cannot support him in this campaign. I am supporting our president. So I just wanted to get that out very quickly because it just dovetailed with what I was explaining about my background at Widener University, because I also taught constitutional law, environmental law at Widener University. So we did run in some of the same circles, so to speak. But that does not trump doing what's in the best interest of this country, which is to re-elect the best president this country has ever had, I must say. And so I'm here again, working diligently in the community, doing everything I can from a legal perspective, providing as much pro bono service as I can, and also representing clients in Florida, as well as I said, internationally, and campaigning as far as much as I can as well on behalf of the president. And in addition to that, I really want people to appreciate the history of this country, because unfortunately there has a disservice has been done with respect to what has been taught concerning the native Floridians, the people who have lived here for thousands of years. And one other aspect of my background is I wrote a book about 20 years ago called The Black Seminoles. And that book basically chronicled the history of the native Floridians since around 1700. And at the time, I knew that one day I would write the script and also produce the motion picture. So because of the importance of getting this information out to not only Floridians, but internationally.
Right.
So that is something that I'm working on as we speak. In fact, I just left a video shoot with some colleagues and friends this morning that are also helping me to do as much as they can to ensure that this motion picture is produced within the next year.
Okay.
But of course the pandemic has delayed
Put the
that
brakes on it,
process.
yeah.
Exactly, has delayed that
So
process.
the title Black Seminoles means there were Indians that were black?
Absolutely.
I don't remember the history books.
Exactly. I mean, most people don't, and it's really unfortunate that most of the native Floridians in the 1700s and earlier were of course dark people, and
Dark as in black or just red?
no, dark as in black as
Okay.
well as red.
Okay.
And of course, they joined forces with other native Floridians that were from various areas of the country,
Yeah, right.
and they were all called Seminoles.
Okay.
Seminoles, Black Seminoles. And
No
so
idea.
this is just fascinating history that should be just a normal part of our
Should be,
educational
yeah.
It should have been.
system,
It should have been.
but it's
Yeah,
not.
Right.
And I've always been interested in history because when I was very young, my father started telling me stories about the family history. And unfortunately, he lost his leg when he was very young. I was only 4 years old, and so he had to recuperate for about a year. And so during that time, he took the time to just engage the family,
Sure.
engage us with respect to the history of the family, the history of the state. So I really was initiated at that early age into this, these historical facts. And of course, I've done additional research as an adult as well. And even in addition to that, I feel that it was a tragedy. But at the time, my father also engaged me as his legal assistant. But at the time, I didn't realize it.
Right.
And so whenever someone asked me, well, why did you decide to become a lawyer? And years ago, I really did not connect the dots. But back then, my father was a Buffalo soldier.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, and he also...
And those were black.
Yes. And he also...
We missed a lot of history.
And he also he was injured. He was in the Italian theater fighting, and he was injured, so he received the Purple Heart. And back then, because of segregation, discrimination, he was having difficulty receiving his compensation for his injuries. So he started engaging me as his assistant to write letters to the VA and the various bodies requesting the reimbursement or his compensation.
Sure.
So at that early age, I started out doing things that were of a legal nature. But until recently, I didn't realize why I decided to become a lawyer. Because there are 8 of us. I have 4 brothers and 3 sisters. And it just really made it quite interesting that, of course, I'm the only lawyer. But at the time, I was the one that was really interested in listening to my father. And because you can imagine someone who's 4 or 5 years old who wants to go out to play, but my father also wanted to instill, and my mother, of course, wanted to instill this type of guidance and information. And they did do so, but at the time I really didn't appreciate it as much as I do now. So I just wanted to add that in to give it a more
Did you ever get his
at-home
compensation?
perspective.
Did you ever get his compensation finally?
Oh yes, he did. Yes, he
and
did.
that was from a young, not lawyer to be person.
Yes, he did.
Wow.
And then as a lawyer,
Awesome.
I believe it or not, I have also practiced law as a workers' compensation lawyer. And even back then, when I was hired to do that work, I had not connected the dots. But I also served as a law editor for it's a company called Commerce Clearinghouse. And we produced the corporate law guides and the workers' compensation law guides for people throughout the country. So
you've been in it
yes,
from an early age.
Yes, I like to say I have been involved in the law in some capacity, almost from A to Z.
Wow.
From a very young age, exactly.
Now I have actually my grandfather on my mother's side, his mother was a Seminole. They used to call them swamp, the N-word.
Yes.
Swamp Negroes.
Yeah.
So they wasn't saying Negro.
Yes.
Back in the day. So he used to tell stories about his mom. I've seen pictures of her, and she had the long flowing black hair, the high cheekbones. And if you look at my aunts, who's his sisters, they all have that same high Indian cheekbones.
Yes.
I'm like 3 generations removed,
Yes.
so I don't have the same feature. But the features don't show up in the guys as much as they show up in the girls.
Yes.
So my aunts, his sisters, to me, they look like Indians. They pretty much, and they all high yellow. They all got the color. They got the hair. The whole. So they got those features. And again, anything that they said, for some reason or another, they didn't tell. He didn't tell. And my granddaddy, I'm like 4 or 5 years old too.
Yes.
So all the stuff he said, I was at a very young age.
Yes.
And he didn't say anything good, And they was from Miami, so they from the south area. So they still
Way south,
they still telling those stories, and they didn't have it well. But one thing he did say, that it was a lot of black folks and Indian folks who did not discriminate against each other. They was living in the same villages, living in the same places, So this is stuff I didn't get in the history book. This is stuff I got from folks telling me those tales. They try to say, oh, well, blacks and Indians, was discriminating, was prejudiced.
Yeah, no.
They never got together.
Not really.
The real history is, from what I've been told, blacks and the Indians, they were both being, pretty much punished as regular as possible by white folks. And at the end of the day, they joined, and a lot of those wars and battles and conflicts they had back in those days, they were fighting on the same side.
Oh, absolutely. That is absolutely correct, Eddie. Yes, it was it was a big family for the most part.
Right.
Because, yes, my great-grandmother was Indian out of Live, Florida, Suwannee County, and it was just a coming together of a group that had, at that time, a common enemy.
Right.
And so they had to do whatever was necessary to preserve the culture and as much as they could, and to preserve their lives. And so they intermarried, and it was just a matter of working together, as a family.
Right, yeah.
And of course, even within a family, you're going to have conflicts and disagreements. So that doesn't mean that just because they consider themselves to be a family, they did not have disagreements and call each other names.
Yeah.
That's all powerful, of course.
But they had the same oppressor,
Exactly.
And that can do a lot to make people who may not have liked each other been willing to cooperate, make them cooperate. So the black community, one thing that, I heard somebody on one of the shows this morning talk about, that they're teaching, African American history, in all the schools and all that stuff. That's something, I and a couple other people fought for several years ago when Jeff Aiken, when he first became superintendent of Hillsborough County Schools, we had meetings, we had groups, it was a couple of people who was in his ear saying, we got to change this, we got to change this. And African American history ain't 1 month. It should be every month, every class, in every curriculum, and it has to be integrated, And I got people who I hear saying that, but they say it's happening, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the books changing, and I haven't seen the kids learning it, even though folks are saying, oh, yeah, it's still happening, it's happening. I haven't seen it, so.
Yes, that definitely is very important. We must ensure that the history is taught properly.
Right.
Otherwise, we're basing our future on a very poor foundation.
Yeah.
And the foundation is very important, especially when it concerns education of our young people. So I am definitely prepared to do whatever I can to ensure that the history is taught in the manner that it should be, so that it encompasses all of the aspects of our culture and all of the aspects of the history that has brought us to where we are today. And we have to give credit to those that came before us, those that were here for thousands of years, like some of my ancestors, who made it possible for Floridians and for all Americans to enjoy the fruits of their labor, so to speak, and to be able to live in the way that we have been living up until this point. So I always give thanks to them in the way they were able to preserve the environment by utilizing certain cultural procedures that in some cases it really has been abandoned to the detriment of all of us. So I'm hoping that we can bring back some of those cultural traditions, and while at the same time providing the historical information that is so much needed in this country, so that we can appreciate all Americans, and we are all Americans.
I think you guys are.
And we got a caller. So let's do the caller first. This is Porch Talk Radio this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what's that you? Hello?
Yeah, this is Adam from Tampa.
Hello, Adam.
Hey, Adam.
Hey, just a couple of things. Just wanted to tell you happy birthday.
Thank
you.
you.
It's great that the Lord has blessed you with another opportunity. Give you another year to get it right, as they would say. Happy birthday. I'm glad that you were considerate enough and didn't follow the leadings of the current occupants by, putting off your birthday celebration because you were concerned about others in terms of maybe getting COVID. So, that is good that you are responsible. I only wish that the person that is the head of your party would take note of that. And then also, in the upcoming elections, I remember a few years ago when there was the Confederate monument controversy, you had said that you would be against the people that you consider to call the Confederate Four, and Sandy Merman and Stacey White were part of that Confederate Four. I haven't heard you recently talk about that we need to get those people out of there, or we need to get rid of those people, because you were very strong advocate that because of what they did during that time period, that they didn't need to be in office anymore. And lastly, with the guest that you have, I'm glad that she's bringing that information out. That is, I think it's very important for us to know. I just have a question, because I heard, Mr. Eddie, you refer to Indian. The thing is, indigenous people of this continent, the thing is, that's kind of like a misnomer, because the thing is that, that from a historical standpoint, the reason why they were called Indian is because of where Columbus thought he was.
Right.
And it's not that they are Indian.
Right.
Because they're not from that particular region. They are indigenous people.
Right.
So we just need to be from, as the guest that you have on there who's talking about the Seminole tribe, and we need to, from a historical standpoint, we need to be correct in how we the language that we use and the information that is given out. Thank you.
Take care, Adam.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you listening.
Appreciate the call. And that's one of our regular callers.
Oh,
and I
very
just
good.
have to make sure that he understands that when I said Indian and I said Seminoles, everybody listening to this show, including you, knew what I was talking about. So again, we're not trying to be politically correct. We just started calling them indigenous people within the last 20-some years. Before that, all through my childhood, we played cowboys and Indians.
There we go.
We played cowboys and Indians, not cowboys and indigenous people.
No.
I'm just trying to say, there's a communication issue, and I did learn in school that, Columbus thought he was finding a short route to the Indies, and that's why he started calling the people Indian. We know all the history of how they got the name. But the point is, for our conversation, it's about us knowing who it is we're referring to and who we're talking about. So again, I'm not trying to be politically correct, and I made that statement at the beginning of the show.
Yeah,
We're not trying to be politically correct, so we're not trying to, if it hurts you that we call somebody Indian and not indigenous people, I would suggest that you consult the indigenous people and ask what they properly need to or want to be called, and if they have an issue with it, have someone call the show, and we will refrain from calling them Indians. I'm just saying.
It sounds like you just said, if someone's offended because of the offended, go confirm with the offended.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And of course, it depends on who you're talking to. Some Native Americans or indigenous people prefer to be called Indian.
They
So
do.
it just depends.
Right.
It varies. So yes, that's why
My granddaddy's mother, and all my education from talking at not one time did he ever refer to them as indigenous people. I'm just telling you, my granddaddy called them Indian. He said his mother was an Indian, and everybody I talked to back then called them Indian. So
Well, it's a PC thing now.
So
but
it's a
you nailed
politically correct thing that's come around. But at the end of the day, it's about the conversation. Okay, we got another caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
All power to the people. How you doing, brother?
Hey, sister. I talked about you earlier.
Congratulations.
And I heard you. Thank you so very much. I called to say happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
And thank you for such the warm words of support that I'm going to need and the whole board is going to need as we move forward. And I look forward to working with you on this journey. So thank you so very much, and happy birthday to you again.
Thank you so
God
very
bless.
much. We know. I'm gonna tell you like the folks used to say back in the old days. You know, they got the right one now.
Mhm. That's awesome.
You know when
The
they
community will
get the
win.
right black person, you know, to do a job. You know, first thing some people say, you know, they don't say it out loud. But the back in the background, okay, they got the right one now. She gonna get it done. So that's what I say to you, sister. I know you gonna get it done. And if you have to
Awesome.
break a couple of legs on the way, you still gonna get it done.
That's right. Awesome.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
All right.
My goodness.
Yeah.
You know, you guys are both bringing up some great points on the history of Hispanics and blacks, minorities in general. Because right now we're kind of stuffed in a box.
Yeah.
We get a Black Month. We have a Hispanic Month.
Yeah, this is Hispanic month here.
And as opposed to if it's just in the history books,
Right.
then every month
Right.
Yeah.
would be just knowing that the
Right.
minorities
Right.
were involved in creating and stabilizing, maybe, I don't know, parts of America, and they were used in the military, the Buffalo Soldiers
Yes.
you mentioned. I know they were used also in flight.
Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
there were, but again, it's really not. You today go open up a modern day history book from the school. I'm not sure there's much mention of any of that in there.
It wasn't in my books. I didn't learn
No.
about Tuskegee Airmen until I went to college.
Yeah,
Yes, it's
so-
true, and most people still don't know about the Black Seminoles.
You're right.
Even today.
You're like, oh
Yes,
really?
yes.
So,
And experiments. They used to experiment on black folks in prison.
Mhm.
You know, you had no choice. They used to sterilize black women. It's a lot of stuff. The atrocity done to black folks, you know, is immeasurable. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, we are here and we are strong people. That's the
very
important
good.
part.
Very good. Very good.
Yes.
And the okie dokie is still out there. There's still some okie dokie people. So, okay, we got another caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where you calling from? What say you? Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Adams, this is Fred from Tampa.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I was just listening, and I know you have that caller that comes on there, and you were saying that you ain't trying to be politically correct, but
No, sir.
you know, Mr. Adams, you're an educated person, and you understand that when you're talking about we play games like Cowboys and Indians, you know that has supremacist in nature, because the thing is that the people that were considered villains were people of color. And the thing is that we have to be very careful of what we're putting out as African Americans, because I don't think you want to be called Negro anymore, or you may not mind that, but the thing is that African Americans have chosen to call themselves African American. So those people who are indigenous, they want to be called Native American, not Indian, because that is incorrect. So I understand you don't want to be politically correct. I know you're saying it for just as a frame of reference, but the thing is that please don't diminish what that young man was trying to say, because the thing is that you just don't want to buy it.
Let's have a conversation. Back in 1967, a white New York Times writer gave black folks the name African American. Before then, everybody wanted to be black. I was black my whole life. I became
Colored.
yeah. I was black in the day when black folk didn't want to be called black. I was black then. I'm black now. So I've never latched on to the African American saying. I ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings.
But have you been African?
But I've
There's
always
nothing
been
wrong-
black.
there's nothing- I
So-
understand, but there's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
the thing is that you have people that call themselves Italian American,
Sure.
Cuban American,
Right.
And the reason why they chose that name is because you have a point of origin. We of African descent, we are not a color, because the thing is that you can say if you're Pan-African, you can refer to yourself as being part of the African diaspora, if you want to be referencing like that. But the thing is that there has to be a point of origin, and that point of origin is that large majority of who you would call black, their origin came from sub-Saharan Africa, so you have African American. So the thing is, it doesn't matter that a white person in 1967 is what we have embraced. We've been called Negro, and we said black, but the thing is that Every other ethnic group refers to themselves with a home, a point of origin. We are African Americans. I know you might call yourself American, but the thing is
I'm
that
black.
you know what?
I'm Mexican, but I'm American first.
See, but see, you missed
Well,
my
you can
point.
call yourself that. You
For
can
this
call yourself
for
that,
this
but the thing is
hour
that-
for this hour on the radio show, that I have, I can't try to keep everything right. I say that at the beginning. I try to, if I offend somebody, that's your business, because again, at the end of the day, it's about communication with me. Now, I choose to call myself black. I have been black my whole life. So if that's offensive to somebody, I'm not gonna apologize for it. And some people choose to call themselves African American.
Yeah,
They may like
great.
that, but I am not an African American. I am black and been black my whole life, and ain't no use of me changing now to make somebody else happy. That's not me. That's
Eddie,
not
not
my
NPC,
nature.
brother.
That's not my nature.
There we go. Well, thank you for listening, man. We appreciate you giving some input.
Yeah. Thanks for calling.
Don't forget, we got
and we
time's
appreciate
running
it.
away.
Yeah, we gotta get in, on this day.
Please.
And there's a lot of people. More and more, I listen to the media. I hear everybody doing some form of it. It's catching on. I hear Bay News 9 and I hear some of the sports things. And they're doing the on this day in sports, on this
They
day
copied you, Eddie.
in news, on this day in
It's
whatever.
successful and they copied you.
And the only reason I notice it, because I noticed when I started, nobody was doing it. And now, every time somebody new does something like it, I say, oh yeah, that's
It took
like
a few years.
Yeah,
We warmed down.
that's like what I do. So, but
There we
anyway,
go.
Eddie Adams Jr. doing on Porch Talk Radio, doing on this day.
Officially.
On this day in history. This is where it started. So anyway, on this day, October the 17th in 1777, the American troops defeated the British forces in Saratoga, New York. It was the turning point of the American Revolutionary War. On this date, October the 17th, 1931, Al Capone, everybody remember who Al Capone was
Texas.
convicted on income tax evasion and was sentenced to 11 years in prison. And he was released in 1939.
Never mind all the people he murdered.
Yeah, well, they got him on income tax.
There you go.
On this date, October the 17th, in 1933, Dr. Albert Einstein moved to Princeton, New Jersey after leaving Germany. On this day, October the 17th, 1978, U.S. President Carter signed a bill that restored full U.S. citizenship rights to Confederate President Jefferson Davis. Now, I don't know how he lost his citizenship right and the Confederate Army and all that stuff, but he restored them. So the president can grant you, immunity and overturn your conviction and get you out of jail and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, Jefferson Davis, who was the president of the Confederacy, his citizenship rights were returned. And last but not least, on this day, October the 17th, 1979, Mother Teresa of India, I know a lot of you folks know and heard about her, was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. And now we have Gabriel have his couple minutes to say his piece.
A couple of shout outs, folks. First shout out is to the Democratic Party and the little Marxist organization called BLM that's pulled in $1 billion. Of course, none of that money will ever make to the black communities, but that's a side note. But I just want to thank the people that ran the little BLM masks and all that. That's cute. You know what? The fact that organization has pushed for defunding the police has moved a huge amount of police unions to the Trump team like never before in history. So just a shout out to the Democratic Party and the little Marxist BLM organization for pushing that and helping Donald Trump in the big picture. That's just so awesome. There's organizations, unions that are endorsing President Trump right now for the first time in history. They've always belonged to the Democratic Party until they went against them. Didn't have their back anymore. And also a shout out to Ice Cube who is now helped out with the Platinum Plan for the president. Ice Cube also went to the Democratic Party.
He's on everybody's shit list.
Yeah, he went to the Democratic Party and told them, hey, I got some ideas to help the black community. And the Democratic Party, you know, we just check back with us after the election. We ain't worried about it. He called up the Trump administration, hey, I got some ideas to help the black community. And I said, come on, let's talk. And with that, he began to put some stuff foundational into the Platinum Plan, which is going to increase capital to black businesses, fuel the black-owned businesses, cut taxes, increase education opportunities. Who wants to keep their kids going to bad schools? What if you had the opportunity to send your kid to a better school and your tax dollars cover that? What's wrong with that? How can we keep throwing money at bad schools? It's been going on for decades, folks. It's failed. Lower the cost of health care, further criminal justice reform. That First Step Act was awesome. Awesome. And they've got a Second Step Act he's trying to put in place in his second term, which is great news to help the black community, because minorities, black and Hispanic, we're making up a majority of that population in those prisons and jails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So we got somebody finally who's not black, but he's white, and says, they're people, and we can help them. And he's doing something about it. So that's awesome. Let's see, a little fun stuff on the side. The hearings have gone on with Amy Barrett this past week.
Right.
And the Democrats' takeaway line from it came from Mazi Hirono. She's out of Hawaii, senator, Democrat senator. And her question was to Amy Barrett, if she's ever sexually assaulted anyone or been paid for sexual favors. Yep, that was the Democrats' takeaway from asking the question to the judge. Finally, Michigan Court Appeals ballots must arrive by Election Day. No 14-day extension. That's bull. And basically, folks, life is good. Don't forget Mr. Sowell, Thomas Sowell.
I'm a soul.
So? It looks so well. I keep it around. All right, I'll take your word on it. This is something he put out just recently. Racism is not dead. It is on life support, kept alive by politicians, race hustlers, and denouncing others that don't agree with it as racist, people who get a sense of superiority by denouncing others as racist. So it's still out there, folks. And if you're going to be voting blue, then you're going to help keep it alive. Thank you.
All right, we got another caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Charles Coffey, Chestnut, Florida. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Look here, you know I've been black all my life, and I'm gonna stay black.
Woo!
What I wanted to say is this. You know, when I was coming up, we had black schools. You know, because
Right. Yes, sir.
segregation was a good thing for black men. A lot of people don't want to agree with that because when it started with integration, that really was a curse to us. But and people don't like saying that. But you know something, 80% of black folk will agree with that. And something about black people, 80% of black people in America are not for defunding the police. I don't know who told that lie, Adam, but that's a lie. We got too many black people, our relatives, uncles, aunts, and all that are police, FBI and all. Why would we defund them?
Right.
Yeah.
God bless you, man. Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
That's a wise man right
Yes,
there.
sir. Thank you. Thank you for calling this show. And I got to say something based upon that comment. Okay, if you are involved with the black community, I have been involved with the black community for 40, 50 years of active service in the community. And I'm going to tell you, if anybody go to any of these older communities and talk to the men and women who live in those communities, white folks ain't coming down to the hood. I mean, white folks ain't coming to the hood and terrorizing our grandparents. I'm telling you that. Those are young black men and
Eddie,
young black
you're not
women
PC, Eddie. Watch out.
terrorizing
Watch
our
out.
older folks. And the parents aren't stopping it.
No.
So when they call the police, they're not calling by some white yuppie, snowflake kid coming down and terrorizing them. Them your kids terrorizing your mama and your daddy and your grandmama and your granddaddy.
Right.
So at the end of the day, They're not saying we want to defund the police, because at the end of the day, they got to have the police to protect us from us. I've always said, and I keep saying, we are our own worst enemy. So at whatever point in time we decide to make our kids act right, we wouldn't need the police. I'm just saying.
And Eddie, it's white liberals that run BLM. It's white liberals, 85% of them are white liberals.
Right.
And the Democratic Party, the white side of it, says we just need to defund the police and send in counselors. Boy, I see a high turnover rate there with them counselors. There'll be target practice left and right. That's just the dumbest ideas.
Well, they just want to have the counselors killed. So,
I guess.
So that's
High turnover in that one.
Create another opportunity there,
Keep it coming.
And at the end of the day, I must say, and if anybody's ever heard me on this show, I tell you, Black Lives Matter don't have many black males in that process.
Or the interests of black people.
And if at some point in time they decided to help the black communities all over this country,
Oh my goodness.
with the funding and with the influence that they have, it would be a great asset.
It would be
but
huge.
They do not.
Nothing.
They have a political agenda, and that political agenda is not about helping black people in this country do better. I'm just saying, we got some great community service, like my sister Connie, Candy Lowe,
They care and they're involved.
Orlando Goose, Les Miller. We got a lot of great people and elected officials who actually care about the communities which they're in.
Which is awesome.
But we have a organization that's like the color of the month. It's got black in its name, but it don't mean that they care about helping black folks.
Eddie,
I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there like it is.
and just like that, Eddie, one of the co-founders, one of the lady co-founders of the organization, 3 weeks ago went out and said straight out, Joe Biden's one of the worst racists we can possibly be messing with. She said it. Done. I'm like, oh, then why are black people wearing them little masks, say BLM on the side, like that's supposed to be doing something good for the black community? Yeah, how many dollars are showing up from BLM in the black community? Zip. None in the Hispanic either. Zip. It's going in their white liberal pockets. Woo!
Well, you can tell they're not black because they worth over $1 billion. And anybody from the community know we've been fighting civil rights and having that battle, and again, I'm with Porch Talk Radio. So again, if you listen to this show, you're getting offended by what I'm saying,
Go look it up.
I'm gonna say it's your problem. It's not mine, because we're giving you information.
That's right.
And if you think I'm saying something that's incorrect, and you go look it up and call me next week, and say, Eddie, you said so and so and so, and it was wrong. If it's wrong, I
get our
accept
fact
it.
checkers on it right away.
I accept it. We're rolling through our fact checkers.
Oh, that's right.
Because we got our own fact
That's right.
checkers here at Porch Talk Radio.
Let me grab my phone. Hold on.
And what we'll do is we'll consider it, and we'll let you call back and have that conversation. Yeah. And I accept it. I'm telling you like this, I don't have to win every battle. See, you got some folks, and especially black men, I hear black women all the time saying, oh, black men this, black men that. I don't have to win every battle. I don't always have to be right. But I am putting information out there that I think helps this whole community. It's a lot of people may disagree with my politics, but at the end of the day, we're going to get to a place where this thing improves. As long as I help that happen, we don't have to all agree. I don't have to be your friend.
Eddie, you said it so well one time, just recently, you said, if after the show finishes, I'm still stuck in your head by something I said, or we said here, then I made you think. Right. Now you go look it up, and if you find out it's wrong, it's incorrect, you come back to me. Right. But otherwise, that's my job, give you that information, you go work on it, because you're not going to hear it on CNN.
Right.
So again, and the last big blow up that happened this past week, amazing, was the hard drive to Hunter Biden's computer that had all the information. That boy is busted. He has busted that. It's imploding right now on Mr. Biden. Mr. Biden, you know what? That's his crackhead son, and that's a shame. But that whole thing, that campaign with the FBI confessing, the FBI said they had that computer, they knew about it, they didn't know that the guy that they got the computer from and made a copy of that hard drive, legally he could because everybody had to sign a piece of paper when they went and dropped computers off. And now that ended up in the New York Times and Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, and not to change the subject, but while we got Belinda here,
Come on, Melinda.
give your
Yes.
information out. You know how people can contact you, and when the movie is coming out.
Yes.
And the fact that she is one of the leaders
Producers?
in Black Voices for Trump. They
Oh
have a
my
campaign
goodness.
office here. She helps set it up, and she helps run it. So go ahead and get the
Hit it.
information out.
Yes, you can reach me at Senator Noah, that's SenatorNoah @yahoo.com. And you may also call me at 813-808-5351. Again, 813-808-5351.
Wow.
And the movie for
Yes, and
tell
of
us
course,
when the movie's
and
coming
of
out.
course, and of course, we've started pre-production. So we are anticipating the movie will be out next 2021, provided we are able to get beyond this pandemic situation, which has delayed the production somewhat.
Is there a
So just
website for it?
please stay tuned.
Is there a website for it, or
We're working on the website, and we will keep everyone posted. Just
what's the name of it?
it's called Princess Hialeah and the Black and Seminole Indians. Indians, of course, because as I said,
Right.
not all Native Americans,
Right.
indigenous people have a problem with Indian. In fact, I would say most of them prefer Indian.
I think you're right.
And I think it's a matter of the individual as to what they would prefer to be called. And of course, we can appreciate everyone's input, but in the final analysis, it all comes down to that particular individual or that particular group's decision with respect to
So
how
indigenous-
they want to be referred to.
Indigenous
Yes.
people can mean anything.
Yes.
Right.
Anybody can Indian. What's an Indian?
Yeah,
Yes.
everybody's indigenous to something.
Absolutely.
And of course,
Somewhere.
I'm
And of
against
course,
tacos.
and of course, if you go back really far in history, everyone came out of Africa.
Right.
So we, in that respect, we are all Africans from all.
Weren't the Egyptians black?
Yes,
Yes.
and yes, the
Okay.
Egyptians were black,
It
and
is now 2:00.
Oh,
And
we getting warmed up.
We gotta go.
Good.
So Tampa Bay, thank you for listening, and until next week, same bad time, same bad
God
station.
bless America.
We see you then. Love you.
bless America.
Bye bye.
Boom.